All right, welcome fifth grade. You are going to need a couple of things today. You're going to need a piece of paper, the adult substitute. Our teacher should hand out the white paper on the desk. It's just printer paper. You will need a scissors and then a pencil. Today is practice, so if you don't have a pencil, you can use a pen, but that is it. I will be using a pen just for the fact that I need you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. So today what you're doing is you're going to be tracing the scissors, and you're going to be tracing it so that you can take the scissors off once you get the outline done, and you're going to be drawing all of the interior detail that you see once you have removed the scissors. So it'll make more sense as I go. First thing, the center of the scissors is probably the best spot to hold. You can see if you hold here, it wants to rock or tip. Sometimes out here, it'll move. So the center is kind of that one spot. So that's my suggestion, is kind of get used to this today. You're going to be tracing a lot of scissors in the week to come. So I'm going to trace it just like it is. You can have it open. Again, if it's open, you really want to practice making sure that when you trace it, you don't move the scissors. And so we're going to start by first tracing it with it closed. So I hold down the middle, and what I'm going to do is go right along the outside. And it's really important that your pencil is straight up and down. You're trying to get the most accurate reading. And then you'll notice I did not go inside of this part here. I stop a little early because a lot of that you have to draw on your own. The pen is a little harder than the pencil. And then you're doing the inside of the handle. So constantly using both hands to hold the scissors. Once you start tracing, you really got to be careful because you can't have it move on you. All right, so I went all the way around the outside of the scissors. You can see that kind of. And now what I want to do is I want to move it, but I want to keep it in the same direction. Okay, and the reason being is scissors are basically 4 different pieces. We have 2 metal blades, and we have 2 pieces of plastic that make up the handle. Right now, I have 1 piece. So what we have to do is separate all of those pieces. To do that, I like to start up at the top part of the scissors and draw this curve. A lot of you are going to draw it as a straight line. It's a round circle. So what I do is I try to make that circle shape. Okay. And then we notice that it starts to kind of cut from around that circle here, and it cuts into this bigger part of the scissors. I don't like to start here though. I like to kind of bring this in. So it's just kind of a gentle curve. And then once it gets past this loop or the hole in it, then it starts to slant until it goes into that circle top that we made. So now what I've done is I've separated this now into 3 different parts. But this still is not finished. And we notice that there's space and a crack or a separation of the 2 pieces of plastic right here. So this gets pretty close to the larger part, then goes a little bit away from it. And then we have that division of the plastic pieces. Okay, so that is the handles now being separated. What I also want to draw is kind of where the light hits the angle or the glare or the slant. And so depending on where you're sitting, it's different. But I'm going to draw that slant just with a line. Same thing on this one. It goes really close to the edge here, and then I don't see much on the other side. So over here, it gets a lot larger. Then I have a little bit of a groove or slant here. And so right here, it kind of comes out and then goes into that. And then we have this circle, and this is something we'll talk about in a little bit. On one side, there isn't anything other than just a little circle bump. And everything should be about the same size as what it is on there. And so now I have all of my details, all of my slants, all of the grooves, all of that in the two handles. Now what I need to do is separate my blades. So I have a bottom blade and a top blade. And if I look at it, kind of starts out straight and then curves in like this. And then we're going to go all the way to the point like that. Then to show that what's called a bevel or that slant in the blade, I draw that. Okay, so now I have all of that time was spent drawing just the detail on this scissors. I still have one thing if I draw it on this side. I don't have to do these little numbers here, but I do need to put fiskers if I'm drawing it on the side with just the regular circle. So what I do is I move the fiskers, I move the scissors so that they are even with the one that I drew. And now I need to write fiskers. And the reason that I put it so close is because I'm trying to line up the letters so that I can draw it in the same size and font meaning the same kind of lettering, so that it matches what's on there. Okay. And that is the detail that I need you guys to get out of the drawing. Now this project is going to require you to do 15 to 20 scissors on your piece of paper. So what that also requires is overlapping. Overlapping being whenever something goes on top of another thing. Now the hard part is I can do this even with pen because we are not going to draw through the scissors. What we need to do, and maybe I'll open this one, okay, is I am going to hold it, trace it, and I have to be aware of where everything is. So right now it's pretty easy because you only have one other scissors on here. If you remember, I just said 15 to 20 scissors on this piece of paper. You can see it moving every once in a while. It's a lot easier with pencil, but I am tracing and I am stopping once I get to the scissors that I just did. So we don't want to draw through any of the scissors. We want to see where they are. I stop when I get to that scissors. I go to the other side. And then I draw that. So I'm going to take it off now. And again, it is extremely important that you leave it just how it is. You have one on here and you leave it right where you had it on this side. So now what you need to do is exactly what we did with the last one, is now you need to draw all 4 parts. So again, I start with that round part coming off of the small. It comes down. Like that. This has a slant where we get to see the metal inside. Then I want to draw that. And this time we don't have the circle, we actually have the screw, which tells me anytime that you have the side with the screw, I shouldn't see fiskars. If I see the circle and no screw, then I should see fiskars. Sometimes you have to draw the blade or parts that you couldn't trace underneath. And then that also requires drawing the bevel. I'm not shading anything in. I need to draw those details. And then the last thing is the, well, not the last thing, but the glare or the angle. Slant there. And then inside of this circle, I have to draw the actual screw. So I make a smaller circle inside. And then I have to make a little plus sign like that. So if we zoom in, you can see what that looks like. Now notice that I did not go through these scissors. As you build up more and more and more and more, okay, you're going to have to be aware of where all the scissors are. Now I made an example that shows all the details that you need to have on your piece and what it looks like as you draw more and more and more. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different scissors on here. So we're going to need 15 to 20. So you can see how it's really going to start to fill up. Okay? And again, you'll see how you have to draw through the openings. You have to know what is a scissors, what is background, what is not. Okay? And again, no shading. You're just drawing flat lines. So with that, good luck, everyone. And get drawn. Today's practice.